What are the best ways to improve your boxing skills if you're a martial artist who only focuses on fight sports that involve kicks? So many athletes from MMA, Muay Thai, or kickboxing feel like their hands are subpar, mediocre, and today I'm going to help you fix that. We've got about 10 days left at Strike Ready, where we're having the best sale of the year, and you can pick up all of my 5 courses and save over $550. Link down below. Now, we want to focus in on letting those hands go, having more confidence as we throw, and confidence is usually generated from not getting hit back, not making mistakes. So as we sharpen up our hands, it's a very easy way to give us that confidence to punch, knowing we're not going to get smacked in the head repeatedly. And something I was teaching somebody today in an in-person private was many people think about the extension of the punch. That's the primary thought process, even when we combo up. Extend, extend, extend. But what I teach people is they start getting more advanced, and this extension is more just of a muscle memory motion. They don't have to think about, oh, when I throw the hand, my other hand needs to be up, and I need to lift my shoulder high enough that my jaw is covered, and I need to turn my hand over. When you're not thinking about that anymore, the thought process should change to extension to rechamber. The rechamber is going to get the hand back to your head so fast and in the exact right place, and that is going to allow you to throw combos and feel, or even single shots, and feel like as I throw, I'm always returning my hand promptly back to my head, and I'm not leaving holes to get countered. And even better is when I rechamber quickly, it forces my other hand to go out fast. If I'm sluggish on my rechamber, then the other hand is not going to go out as quick. And that is why many people struggle on the last punch of the combo. They're really fast. Bang, 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 slow back, because the other arm is not going out. The hands move at the same speed. If you're sluggish on your rechamber, the other punch is going to be sluggish. So we make sure that we pull back fast so the other hand goes out fast. And we always return our hands at the end, fast and directly to our forehead. If you can do just that, nothing else from today's episode, but just that, you're going to start feeling like your boxing is improving simply because your defense is going to be more on point. Now, a reason that many people struggle with their boxing when they're trying to kick is they go, I want to kick from this stance. This more narrow stance is much easier to feel like I can launch up without it taking lots of energy. But then you have to box from here. And it naturally feels easier to box from here because that allows you to slip easier. It allows you to be more dynamic on that forward back motion. And even if you have to block shots from here, you might feel like you're more balanced. So what happens is maybe in pad work, where they're just doing what they want, they're kind of here. And then they start sparring and trying to box, and the stance automatically lengthens out. We don't want that. We don't want to be doing one activity one way and then a different activity an opposite way, because we're going to be struggling in this new stance. So really start deciding, okay, if I want to be in this position here, and this is where I want to fight from, I'm going to do all my pad work, all my combos from this short stance. Or if I know that's not going to work for me and I'm a little bit better in a longer stance, then I start throwing all my kicks from this longer stance, which at first will feel a little bit slower, a little bit more fatiguing, but you'll get there eventually where it feels normal. But pick one of the two, because I see too many people like this getting ready to throw their kicks, and then as they start their boxing, they end up in an entirely different stance, and that's no good. Now look guys, getting from this out of kick range to punch range can feel, when you're a beginner, it can feel very daunting. You're going, oh man, I have to push so far in. I have to get by attacks whizzing towards my head as I do that. So what we sometimes want, if we're going to do that kicking game and the boxing, is have an intelligent way to get myself closer where I fake with a kick, where I can keep myself safe, create a threat, and then at the end, put those hands on them. What is a great way to go about doing that? Very simply, lift up to a front kick position. I can lift and then step forward, and that's a very safe way to go about closing that distance. I don't just have to step and have this person not worry about anything. I show them something and I step in. Or I show them something and then I step in. Having the ability to close distance and remembering to use those legs as fakes is going to make that boxing feel so much more comfortable, and you won't have that fear of, oh, I want to step in and throw, but it's really scary. No, it's so much better for most people who are starting out. Now, a very common thing for MMA fighters, Muay Thai fighters, kickboxers, is to get very comfortable at this range. They like things longer. It's safe. You can use those legs and stay out of punch range. If somebody comes to punch, I back up a little bit. They go to punch, I back up a little bit. Then I throw a kick. Then maybe I throw a quick punch and I dart away. This is all very safe. But what you're not doing is building up that ability to get comfortable on the boxing. You want to be able to get into here and not be panicking to get back to that kicking range. So how do we start developing it? Just sometimes walk yourself close for a full round to this range here. Just get those hands up and start working just in this zone. It's even better if you can do this with somebody in front of you who's willing to block some light shots and throw back at you occasionally, but just spending like 10 minutes here each session, just touching away and going, okay, I'm not gonna let myself out of fear, just back up. And if I do wanna take a little break, I do go, okay, I don't wanna punch nonstop, but I wanna isolate this guy, stop him from punching me. I don't back out. I put my hands to my forehead and I close the gap. I put pressure so they can't punch at me because they're busy trying to deal with that forwards pressure on their forearms. I push and then I break off. I come back to here and I push forward again. That kind of technical work there is important, very important to start doing to develop the confidence in those hands. The last way that I want you to improve your boxing is to go ahead and recognize, yeah, it's easier to kick in terms of safety. So utilize those kicks to create the opportunity to then follow up on your hands. What do I mean by that? Well, instead of moving around and going kick and then reset, or kick and reset, start trying to train yourself to throw a kick and then fall to a punch combo. You're incorporating boxing there, you're just leading with a kick. That's it. We already talked about faking to close the distance safely, but what if you just touch them, set down, and then come into your boxing? There's more likelihood that you're going to be comfortable with that. The main thing though is many people do not bring their foot back right to where it started. So they're here, they're in this great stance where they can push forward, but then they kick and their foot, instead of coming right back to here, ends up too long or too narrow or right in line. So you got this bladed stance, and then from there, there's this adjustment to get back to here before they can attack. So really working, okay, I throw the perfect kick, I get it right back to where I want, so I can then come back to my boxing immediately. That is so important for this ability of what I'm asking. You play around with it. You get your long range, you just kick, little push forward if you need to, or you just do a shorter range round kick so as soon as you fall, you can fire right in. But it's a great way to go, okay, I'm having more success with my boxing. I'm just utilizing those kicks first to kind of ease myself in to the combo, as opposed to what most people teach, which is hands first and kick after. That's great, but a little scarier to do when you're starting off. Let's call it there. Thanks for joining, guys. I'll see you back here soon.